Hello, my name is Vic from the Hidden Order. Welcome to CNFT Festival, where Japan meets the West. I'm joined by many guests that we'll introduce as well. And also I have Yuri in the back as well. So the whole goal for this conversation today, if you guys would be, feel free to share, is just have an open dialogue about how you guys got into art and NFTs, and also how'd you go through the process of onboarding artists. This is a lot of the community in Japan, and not just in Japan, but also across the world, are very interested in learning how they can get into NFTs and how they can get started on Cardano. And we have reached out to you guys because we think you guys can share that perspective. So we'll go ahead and start. Whoever wants to be the first one to start, just introduce yourself, tell yourself a little bit about your project, and we'll go after that. We'll probably go to the next thing after that. So whichever guys want to go first. Go with AI scholars. Or make it easier for you. Go AI scholars first. So, sir, you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, we're AI scholars. We spun up the project in August of 2021. This is when we actually started communicating directly with the community and kind of testing the waters to see what's going on, what's not working, what's happening, so on and so forth. So a brief introduction about our project is we're basically AI generated art revolving around chess. I love chess. Our community loves chess because chess fosters strategic and critical thinking. And I think that, you know, as part of the Cardano community, as part of the blockchain community, you have to think strategically and you have to think critically when it comes to being an early adopter. So those two went hand in hand, and I wanted to combine those two into an NFT project. And that's when AI Scholars was born. The really cool thing about AI Scholars is that all of our art is basically generated by what's called GAN, Generative Adversarial Networks, AI. And it's a long and entirely different discussion unto itself, but you're basically guiding AI and training AI to focus on a certain theme that you want, and it'll generate, you know, its version of what it believes you were telling it to generate. Okay. So when I do, you know, onboarding people, I think the number one thing that you have to take into consideration is educating them, right? Most people don't understand blockchain fundamentals, and to a degree, I think that can cause a lot of problems later on down the line, because when people are not aware that quote unquote code is law, when it comes to blockchain, there's a lot of exploits and a lot of problems that happen. So you have to sit there and you have to educate them. That's the most important part of onboarding anybody into this ecosystem and into blockchain in general. Explain to them what are private, what are, you know, smart contracts, what are distributed ledgers, what Web3 is about, decentralization, so on and so forth, and make them acutely aware of the fact that sometimes, you know, it's an algorithm. At the end of the day, it's really just one logic, right? That says X happens, Y must happen. And if anything along those lines is off, then the AI is going to do what it does. And I like to tell people, you know, when it comes to smart contracts, think of it as autonomous, you know, driving vehicles, right? Where the AI looking at the stop sign versus a human being, for example, well, it's seeing an object. The programmer must tell it that one object you must stop for, the other object you must, you know, be treating as identifying and classifying as a different entity.
Appreciate that. Yes. Can we I want to introduce some more of our hosts as well too. So before we dive deep into that, before we share that, so appreciate it as much as possible. Love the knowledge that you have to share. I want to introduce the rest of the hosts as well and the other guests. That way, then after that, we're going to go deep into the conversation of just art in general. If that works with you.
Absolutely.
Okay. So we got next. I think we got Cash here from the Benjamin's Club. Correct. Sarah, do you want to introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about Benjamin's Club.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Cash from Benjamin's Club, Benjamin's Group. We're a project on Cardano. We basically created the Benjamin's Club first in about October of last year. We utilized it to bring new artists from Ethereum and other blockchains into the space and give them a chance to present their art to the community, the Cardano community, and have a safe space to do that. And then from that, the group was born. We had a demand, you know, that was much bigger than the club could hold. And we decided to, you know, you were there. We decided to expand, and that's what Benjamin's Group is. We sold 10,000 unique NFT. Started out not unique. They evolved. They became unique. They became eggs. Now they're turning into creatures, fun plastic creatures. And we're really focused on bringing in high quality art and talent into Cardano and promoting building, within our ecosystem. So that's me. And I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Appreciate you sharing that. And then we got Dr. Alex Pogos, is that correct? Or no, Dr. Alex Pogos, who was it? Yunya, who's the doctor we got here? We got NFT Artisans, and then we got Alex Pogos.
That's me.
Sir, would love for you to introduce yourself.
All right, yeah, no problem. Well, my name is Dr. Alberto Monteagudo. I'm originally from Spain. So right now, I'm pretty close to Japan. Yeah.
Yes, you're pretty close to Japan. That's awesome. And then that's awesome. And then how did you get into NFTs? Just a little bit background.
Well, my group and I, we are called ourselves NFT Artisans. We started in August 21, like pretty much around that time. And we did it because we are a group of artists and scholars, or as myself, that we try to understand how art is created in the crypto space or NFT space, and see if there is a possibility of study this medium as another form of art, or more as a medium, but like the most you could see the most recent one. So we start also making art because we know that NFT has a long past from Ethereum, but in Cardano was very recent last year. So we decided to study Cardano because we wanted to grow with the community.
Okay, I love that. And then appreciate you sharing that. That's some great insight. Learned a little more about you guys. I love what you guys do. I love your guys' art. It's very, very attractive to a lot of people that are just like, oh wow, that's very catchy. So thank you so much for sharing. And then Yuri, did you want to add anything before we ask about how the process of onboarding an artist, which a lot of these guys could probably explain.
But before that, maybe the audience want to see what do they create. So what I create. So if you have your web page or something, your art or slide, I want to share and add little explain with it.
Okay, perfect.
So from AI Scholar, and then Cash and Dr. Alberto. So thank you. So if you can share from the below button, there is a screen sharing button is there. Can you see it?
You should put it in the chat, or
okay. So maybe
you would have to screen share.
So okay. I will share it from the screen. Okay.
Yeah. So we're gonna start with Fun Plastic first.
Sorry.
It's gonna be
the Cash from Cash. Okay.
We'll start with Cash first then.
Yeah. So this is our website. It actually just released today. Unironically, I've had a pretty long day dealing with everything related to this, but it's amazing. We spent a lot of time working on it, and if you wanted to, actually, I can get you a transaction and you can test the machine out on your own. Just give me 1 second. If you wanted to do somebody's first, I'll send you the transaction.
Yeah, we'll probably do that later. For sure, if you would love to share just a little bit what this is, so the audience can understand what we're looking at right now.
Yeah, so this is like I said, it's our website. It's basically just what we're using as our machine. Everything else takes place in the Discord for the most part, but we created this machine to give people the option, to add a little bit of, a little bit of dramatic touch to our project and give people a chance to feel like they chose what they were doing. You know what I mean? It's an evolution process. You pick which one you want to do. You can send your egg back to the machine and it becomes uncracked, or you can send it in and create the collection. So, we connect to, we have smart contract dApp connectors. We currently work with CC Vault and Nami, and then we also have addresses that you can use a standard wallet like Daedalus or Yoroi. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I can show you guys the NFTs later and we can go over that, but that's the machine. You select your eggs from your wallet. You press, do you want an egg or the fun plastic? And then it does a slight animation and your eggs show at the bottom. So that's pretty much the website.
Oh, it's very cool. That's awesome. You have any thoughts, Yuri? Isn't this very cool?
My mic was mute. I think it's very cool because I have Cashew's egg and Benjamin Club's egg, and first I think it the original egg is very awesome. Of the it's kind of art, and I think it is really good. But now time passed by, and egg will how do I say it is something
Hatch.
hatch and near to hatch, and I'm very excited what is inside, and I really want to see the inside creator or something. So it is two way for the holder, NFT folder, select the art. So it is very good, good for holder, and it is very fun, and it is very good decision that you make. Sorry, my English is not so good.
It's fine.
Mhm.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure that you had a choice, and we wanted to have a lot of bright, vibrant colors. I mean, it's really just supposed to be a fun tool for you to interact and just kind of see the basics of how like Cardano ecosystem and how we mint our NFTs. So it's definitely cool, but there's a lot more to be seen, in the Discord. But from somebody outside looking to create from a project point of view, always try and give people a choice. I think listen to your community. That's really important. And make sure your product works before you put it out. We delayed, but it was worth it. So always keep that in mind for new people thinking about making projects.
Thank you.
And who's our next one? Yuri. We're gonna showcase the next one.
So showcase is the okay. So Dr. Rex Pedro. Okay, go to your website and share.
I have I'm gonna talk about two of projects. The first one, the one that we start with Cardano. This first one is called Ujiko-delic. And this is a mix between the Ujiko style from the Edo period of Japan, mixed with a psychedelic perspective. So we have here some master of the Ujiko style like Utagawa Kuniyoshi, and we bring these pieces and we clean them up, and then we give them much more color and movement. So starting from this one, what we do is going to this. So this is one of people like the most. Well, and each of these pieces this animation have 4 frames, or they are only 4 pictures put together. And as you see, this is made by hand. So every color, every leaf in in this picture is painted by hand. So we have this, we have in this project, we have right now 21 of these pieces, I would say. This is the last one. We have this from Katsushika Hokusai. And this is actually from Obuse. You can see it in the Higashimachi Festival float. And you have the phoenix and the dragon that we make this more vibrant. But we always try to respect the original idea of the author and just bring more colors and make the people take a look and try to find the hidden details that you can try to look for in each of the pictures. So this is one, and our more recent project is this one that is called Samurai with AI from artificial intelligence. And here we just mixed all kimono style pictures to create from their artificial intelligent samurais. So here in my right, you have a dragon from a kimono pattern, and from there we transform it to these samurais. And this is, as you see, a more bigger project in which we try to have like 1,000 pieces. We don't know if we will arrive to that, but we are in the 600 now. So I like it a lot, this one. Well, that's all.
Oh, thank you so much. That was awesome. Very beautiful colors. This is amazing as I remember seeing it. So thank you.
Cool.
Sure. So yeah, as I said earlier, we're focused on, AI meets chess. And if you look at some of the backgrounds that we have in, in our gallery, this is how we wanted to present to the community. We're not a 10K or 1K or 2K PFP series, all right? Each one of these images is basically unique unto itself. So we wanted to do something different. We wanted people to just buy our NFTs because of the art, right? And we're kind of going for the Picasso of AI, which is none of our pieces are gonna be variants or derivatives or anything like that. When you buy one, it's one of one, and that style will not be reused again. So we want to cater to just really the ultra high luxury market. And that's why there's only 100 pieces in our collection. Right now, if you click on, paying with NFT Maker Pro and so forth, it's going to tell you that the collection is sold out because I don't want people buying it before the drop date. But you can see our pricing model right there. You can see the date when it's going to drop. Inside there, we're going to talk about the community behind AI Scholars and our chess tournaments that we hold in our Discord server, links to our socials, our Discord server in there. And yeah, we really wanted to just cater to the art community of NFTs and make these one-of-ones that are just gorgeous. And another reason behind that is obviously going through the process when you're not doing a generative series, each one takes a very long time to generate. So that is why there's only 100 pieces, because it really is a very consuming and taxing process to get even one image to look the way that you think you want it to come out.
Absolutely, I can tell for sure. Like my favorite pieces are the ones that are the rainbow ones, the ones that are your profile pics, the one that's on the right. So absolutely love what you try to build and showcase. So yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed that, everybody has their kind of go-to version. A lot of people actually like the steampunk version as well. And there's other people that like the rose gold touches. So I'm trying to cater to everyone's palette at the same time.
Very, very awesome. Very awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Yuri, did you want to add anything before we ask the first question from our amazing guests here?
So, okay. First, I want to ask Cash, and how to onboard your artists to your project?
So obviously there's a lot of different ways to go about onboarding artists, and it's a very selective process right now because it has to be. But in the future, we're looking to expand how we onboard artists and how we look to search for artists. We kind of had to do it on a very one-on-one interaction level where it was very personal, because we're so small right now and we can only cater to so many people because we don't have a functioning auction house website yet. But once we have a website up and running where we can cater to a large demand of artists, our goal would be to have some forms, possibly a committee, several different check stops on how we could welcome people in, and also kind of remain decentralized at the same time as best we can. I think it's impossible to fully do it, but we want to stay true to the artist and we want to give everybody a chance. So I think that basically, you just make a connection with the artist, and then if their work speaks to you, then that's when we reach out usually. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So there's a lot that goes into it.
Thank you. Okay. And personal question, and for AI Scholar, and you do the AI art, right? And how did you learn AI art? You were in the University of Art or something?
Yeah, so my first exposure to AI art was with a different Cardano project called Entheos. And back in the summer of, I think it was 2021 or 2020, I loved what he was doing. So I started to research, how he was doing it and so on and so forth. I spoke with him. I spoke with several AI artists, and they explained to me the process, gave me the tools, and they've been very, very helpful. The AI community is very welcoming. And I basically just learned from trial and error, doing it over and over and over and over again until I got better and better at understanding how it works.
Wow, awesome. Do you have any, did you have any art base or something?
Yeah, so if you're asking if I had an art background, no, not really. I just had I have a very quick way of learning. And so in order to be creative, I think when it comes to AI art, you have to have a general idea of what you want to come out there, So for example, if you look at my PFP, you'll see that, it has a crown for a ruby, and there's a lot of rainbow colors and so on and so forth in there. That's where your creativity comes in as an artist. If you're asking me if I've always been creative, yes. Artistically, not so much, but that's where the AI comes in to help me.
Very amazing. So when I also so I want to ask to Dr. Alberto, how do you come to NFT space? Is there some barrier to begin NFTs?
Well, pretty much like any person that came to the space first, went first with crypto coins. Yes. So starting from that, I like the Cardano blockchains. I have a little bag of data, and from that, I just started. Well, the CNFT space started in last year, so it was a good point. So having the Cardano and having learned about all the projects around Cardano, me and the rest of my group of friends at this point, because it was just artists and some other scholars that we share a common interest with Cardano, decided to try and see how we can make some art in the Cardano space. Yeah. So, and I think I'm say it. What CNFT said before, that you have to start little or small, and from there just grow. I'm with him about it because we started that way too. It's like we are just a group of colleagues or friends that we know each other and we can maintain conversation and one-on-one interactions. And from there, yeah, you can having common interests and pursuing some things like art. Yeah, I guess the NFT space and CNFT space in particular is a good way to start.
Thank you.
I don't know.
Oh, thank you. That was awesome.
And then I also ask to you, I know you're in contact with many students in your university in Taiwan. And do you think, what do you think your students know about NFT?
Yes, in one of my classes, I catch one of my students just with his tablet looking NFTs. And I just talked to him, hey, we are in class, what are you doing looking NFTs? And he was shocked because I knew about the space and what was NFTs. So they start just surprised and start asking me about if I do something and that. And also in Taiwan, there is a group of artists that are in Cardano too, and in other blockchains too, but it's a small group that also is growing. And it seems interesting that people here, at least the younger generation, the generation that is right now in the university, they know about the space and they are interested in creating communities.
I'm happy to hear that. So, Vic, this is all question I ask for you individual. Okay. So,
Okay, so I'm gonna ask all you guys, the guests. So what advice do you have to give to not just the Japanese community, but also any new artists on how they can get started with NFTs, and then even more specifically Cardano? So we'll give it to AI scholars first, and then we'll go from AI scholars to Cash, and then to Dr. Alberto for NFT artisans. So, all right, go ahead.
Sure. So I want to just touch that, I think Dr. Alberto's path to discovery of NFTs is how most people's path is, which is you kind of want to have an understanding of blockchain and cryptos to begin with. So if you're thinking about diving into NFTs, my first suggestion is to create a wallet, a private wallet, not a custodial wallet, and then test moving assets, whether they're tokens or NFTs or so on and so forth, to the wallet. Test that out. See the process, understand what's happening, and then build yourself up from there to get different type of assets. So native tokens versus derivative tokens versus NFTs themselves. To get into the NFT market, I think a lot of it, I know this term is used very frequently, but do your own research. It's very, very important for you to get into the communities behind the NFT and find out what is happening, what is the value that's being presented there. I know the word utility is used very frequently, but it doesn't necessarily imply that it's good utility sometimes. So for that, I would say, Alexis Ohanian, he's the co-founder of Reddit. He coined a very great term, which is called MVC, and it stands for minimum viable community, which is a spin-off of the word minimum viable product when it comes to digital assets and products that are, software based. So I think if you're jumping into NFTs, you need to understand the community, and that's where Cardano's strength is. Once you go into these different spaces on Twitter and on Discord and engage with the community, and you understand what people value, how people are interested or vested into projects, you're going to get a great appreciation for Cardano, because Cardano is the community.
Okay. So what little question as well, a lot of our viewers are going to be very new to crypto and blockchain. Could you explain to them just in a very brief amount, just like what is a wallet and where they can find or get into a wallet?
Yes.
Or get a
So
wallet?
yes, and I want to clarify one thing. The word wallet is a little bit misleading because it's not a wallet in the traditional sense that people think is something that you physically own and you put something into or remove something out of. In the blockchain world, a wallet I think should be viewed more as a binocular or viewer. And basically, when you transfer assets to your wallet, quote unquote, it's basically something that allows you to view your assets on the blockchain with your private keys and make changes to that. So, for example, just one example, you let's say you have a CC Vault wallet, right? And it gives you 24 words for the wallet. If you delete the wallet off your phone, and then you download Exodus wallet or Gera wallet or Trust wallet, if you put in those 24 words, all your assets are still going to be there.
Oh,
you understand?
Awesome.
Yeah, because again, that 24 words, that's your private seed phrase or your private keys, and it shows quote unquote file path to your assets on the blockchain.
Okay.
So that's one
very much
you have to
a digital wallet for new people that are trying to understand this concept. A digital wallet where you can see all your assets on the blockchain. And blockchain is, you could say, essentially a network. Is that the best way to explain it to so many people?
Absolutely. And the only difference between blockchain and traditional networks is that blockchain is quote unquote decentralized, right? That's what decentralization means. It's not, for example, your bank account is, hosted servers that are owned by the bank. Well, Ethereum or Cardano, it's the miners and node operators that are operating the network to keep your assets viewable, if you will.
Okay, so I appreciate you sharing that. So thank you so much for sharing, AI Scholars, about focusing on the community first and then learning more about what a wallet is and gaining that knowledge and doing your own research. So before you even get into NFTs, I want to turn it over to Cash so he can tell us his process of how he onboarded his team of artists that kind of grew the Benjamin group as well. So thank you so much, AI Scholars.
Yeah.
Cash.
Yeah. So I think like the original topic was bringing new people into the space.
New people, correct.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a new artist or a new project and you're looking to get started, there's no right way to do it, right? Everybody tries really hard to create something unique and create something new, but when you really dive deep into it, there really is no such thing as a unique idea because you're being inspired from something else. Like there's always going to be inspiration for your project, and just find what inspires you and then market that. You need to make a team, you need to make a Discord, you need to do all the basic things, but then you need to test your product, like we were just talking about. You need to have that community to be able to support your product. And at the end of the day, community equals value in this space, whether that be, monetary value or just your project's worth in perspective of the community. It's critically important that you take the right steps, because if you do things in the wrong fashion, there's easy ways to just completely fall off the face of the planet with your project. So, just be careful, listen to your community. Don't let them be the ones that drive you to do what you do, but take heed of what they say, take note of it, try and make them happy. They're the consumers, you know what I mean? And just be honest, be open, and just put your heart into it. And good things come to the people who do things for the right reasons. So always keep that in mind. And yeah, that's pretty much the best advice I have right there.
Awesome. Thank you. They're going to appreciate that, especially with the Japanese community. They love learning about all these new things. So thank you for sharing. I want to give Dr. Alberto from NFT Artisans. I want to keep calling you doctor because that's cool. And then, he's had some experience introducing NFTs, either new people or they've kind of introduced it to him. So Sarah, if you want to share just a little bit about your experience and how to give some new Japanese artists a chance to kind of like, how do I get into this? You know?
Okay, so
NFT artists.
yeah, let's see. Okay, so let's say that you are a Japanese artist. You are a painter, a writer, a musician. Well, you can see the NFT space like another medium, another way to put your work out there.
Yeah.
Like in other medium, you need to have a community and you have to market your product. So if you are let's put a musician, if you play music, you normally have to record or to go to a discography scope or just make music by yourself. But you can use the same music and use the blockchains to create NFTs and put it out there. The thing is, what you need is a community, because without a community, you are nothing, pretty much. So it's all about community. You have to find a community that like your work, and from there you can grow. I think it's just an advice, but yeah, it's like in every other medium. You need to have people that like your work, and from there just go there. You have to learn, like people had said, how everything works, from wallets, from cryptocurrencies to NFTs, but also remember that it's just another medium. If it's another medium, it's not as difficult to become acquainted with it, and from there, just use it in your favor.
Thank you. Vic is gone. Vic.
Yeah.
I can add to that real quick. Yeah, I mean, I would say that if you're starting out new and you're just trying to test the waters, go with a small drop, you know, just to start. You can always add more later, you know. It's a lot harder to take things off the table than to add more. So think about that, you know. I really like what you guys are doing with the smaller drops. I think it's a good way to harbor a good starting community and build a foundation for your project to grow on top of.
Focus on NFTs. So is there someone who educate to create NFT or educate CNFTs? Do you know someone?
I mean,
in the Western community.
There's definitely people who can help, but like you said, you know, there's always going to be that language barrier, and it just makes things kind of complicated. But you know, someone like me, you know, I'm always willing to work with people. I'll use a translator if I have to. You know, I'll use there's web apps for it, so I have no problem helping people get started, right? And there are free tools. There's always going to be work that you have to do on your own and things that you have to figure out, like creating the metadata and making sure that your files are correct before submitting them. But there's public tools to use, and there's definitely public resources. There's people on Twitter that you can reach out to as well. And, you know, that's the thing about the CNFT community, the Cardano community, is everybody's really helpful. You know, I didn't know everything when I started, and I just reached out to people and had real conversations with them, and I learned so much from that. So I would say make friends first, and then the rest will follow for sure.
Thank you. Do you have some opinion for onboarding people into the CNFT space?
So for my opinion, I've been working mostly with independent artists that are new to just anything to do with blockchain. For those that are Japanese artists, I've onboarded plenty of Japanese artists during my time in Tokyo, and it's a very new concept for you, and I understand it's different, it's new. But if you're willing to risk it and to take the time to learn about it, that's where it's really important, just taking that knowledge and learning about what cryptocurrency is and what an NFT is. And after I explained to Seki, who's one of our artists, that it's essentially digitizing your art and then selling it online, it became like a click to them once they finally got the first paycheck when they actually sold it. And the rest is history. So I would recommend just to anyone, just first step, like AI Scholars said, take that time to learn about what it is. And when you're ready to jump in, don't be afraid, say yes, and then hopefully see what the market says. And if the market if they appreciate your art, then go from there. And then same thing as well, as Cash also pointed out, just start small and then grow bigger from there. And so a lot of you guys know a lot about what you guys do, and I'm just honored just to be here moderating with you guys. So thank you for coming and making the time out of your day to meet with us at CNT Festival, where Japan meets the West. Yuri, anything you want to add before we can go into the next segment? So everyone, thank you for joining us on this conference about art, and just, showing us, the Japanese community, and also just the Western community, how amazing it is to bridge the two worlds together. And I appreciate AI Scholars coming in with just showing a little more about what he does with AI art and chess. And then Cash, Benjamin's group, amazing insight on how you onboarded artists and just showing off essentially what you guys are trying to build towards, and some nice sneak peeks that probably no one's ever seen before. And this is great alpha news. And for those that in Japan don't know what alpha is pretty much meaning insight or anything new that's coming to a project. And NFT Artisans, awesome having you here. Good to know that you are very much deep into NFTs, and you're educating the university students out there that, NFTs are here to stay, and you are deeply involved. And the Japanese community appreciate that you are showcasing Japanese art, and we love it. We love it. And that inspires a lot of the Japanese community to be like, you know what, maybe my art can sell. So thank you guys for joining for this. We can have you guys on next time when we can do this probably less virtual, maybe actually in Japan. And that would be my ultimate goal. So Yuri, thank you for having me.